Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the FPC Virtual Channel, and you're tuning into a very unique way of doing a live stream, by the way. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to present to y'all folks eventually what you came to see. And what it's all about is pretty much I'm going to be working on a pipeline live, trying to help y'all folks to see what I can do. But before I actually show y'all folks, put a show and tell, a how to type of video. So you're going to get to see what I do in the background, what I'm doing on my computer. As you can see right here, this is my character that I created on Blender. His name is Timber. Before that though, I'm trying to create a more how would you say, upgraded type of experience and higher visual quality. So I'm going to do an intro for y'all folks who maybe you want to get into doing this stuff using live, and you want to get into editing your videos live. Not live, but once you create your live session, at the tail end of the session, you'll get a chance to edit your video using YouTube, the YouTube editor. They have a really highly advanced editor through using the newer Studio Beta of YouTube. So as a YouTuber, I'm not just a 3D modeler. I'm not just into 3D art and all that stuff. I'm also a YouTuber in terms of editing videos, and I should be able to present a higher quality video to people. And the reason why I'm doing live sessions mainly is because I don't have that much time in the day to create every single video, edit them all out, and come up with the highest quality as possible. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to throw an intro, um, an example for y'all folks to see, and hopefully you can get to hear it. I don't know if you're going to hear it. So I'm going to go to my phone real quick. I'm just using this video as a test to see if I can pull it off. And if I can, it's going to be pretty profound what is possible. So I'm doing it using the Open Broadcasting Software Studio. And after I do that intro creation, then I'll just run straight through the video and basically show y'all folks what you came to see. So just give me a second and see if I can pull this off. So what I gotta do is go to scene 1, and then the intro is gonna start. So let me go check and see if I got audio real quick. Let me get through this ad, and I apologize for y'all folks seeing the screen, but I just wanted to test this thing. Let's see if I got audio. I'm looking on my phone. Okay, I got audio. So I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna hit this transition to scene 1. If y'all folks know about OBS, you know that you have to move from one scene to the next to transition. Alright, so when that completed, that means I'm gonna edit that part. So I'm gonna edit this out, whatever I'm talking now, and what you're seeing is a text type of a transition. So it transitioned out of that into a text to welcome people to my broadcast. So I'm going to also try to have that running. I'm going to show folks how to do this OBS text edit to get higher advanced text fonts, and I'll do that in the future video. I just wanted y'all folks to see that there's higher end capabilities you can present to your audience while you're trying to do your broadcast. And you also, if you say like you have to go to the bathroom, you can scroll in a text or move a text in, and it doesn't have to look plain. It could look really nice. So I just wanted y'all folks to see that as well. So now we're going to jump back to scene 2, which is the display capture, and this is back to what y'all came to see. So all of this stuff that I'm talking about, pretty much I'm going to edit a lot of that stuff out, and instead I'm going to start off with the introduction. Hey folks, how you doing? I'm your host, Mike Pugh of the FPC Virtual Channel. Welcome to my live broadcast. It's going to be edited down for quality purposes. So what you're looking at is one of my latest 3D models that I put up, known as Timber. I did cover in previous sessions a little bit about him and about what I did with him starting out in 2018, and now moving on, I'm using Blender 2.8 beta. By the way, this is the tool that I use to do rendering, to do a lot of my animation skill development, because I'm still a student. I'm not actually an expert at any of this stuff. I used a tool known as MakeHuman. If y'all folks want to check that out, you can go on to MakeHuman off of the makehumancommunity.org. website, and you can go and do all your research you need to do to find out how it works, what you need to do, etc. Or you can watch my video or anybody's videos on YouTube covering the topic. Just type in "make human" one word into Google or YouTube, and you'll find tons of information and be able to catch up to a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do today. So without this tool, I wouldn't be creating this type of character. Instead, I'll probably create some other type of character using an auto generator character generator tool similar to MakeHuman. And I've used other ones in the past. MakeHuman was just one of the software that I picked up over time. So it's a really, really dope tool. It is powerful. And I do apologize ahead of time if this live stream fails, if it ends, if there's some sort of an error or freeze. That does happen because my computer does have issues sometimes where it locks up and freezes because of too much going on in the background. So if that does happen at any moment in time, I really do apologize. So let's move on. I brought people here today so you can see what I'm going to be doing in terms of the pipeline of using another tool known as Wakaru. Let me bring y'all folks to Wakaru real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I like to showcase this stuff. We'll go into Google and type in Wakaru, and we'll type in Steam. Steam is the engine that it uses, the game engine, where Wakaru is being broadcasted on slash offered up to the community. So this is the broadcast of its intro page. Wakaru version beta. It's in a beta version, just like just like Blender's in a beta version. Tons of software out there is being tested. So we are the guinea pigs. We pretty much are the ones that are going to be testing it out just to see if it works, help them, provide them feedback if we can, stuff like that. So what is Wakaru? Wakaru basically is something for a VTuber. If y'all folks are familiar with VTubing, it's like creating vlogs basically, very similar, but you putting a 3D animation style character behind your voice and behind your mouth motion, your facial expressions, the movement of your physical body to some degree. Depends on the level and the how would you say, the 3D software application, if it can actually mirror everything that you're doing on your webcam. So if you have a webcam tied to your computer, pretty much it will map out the data points from your webcam and then insert it into the 3D software, and the 3D software will interpret that data and then try to redisplay it as a 3D model. So my goal in this using this tool is to take this character that you see on Blender here, Timber, and be able to merge and customize him to whatever degree I need to, which I already have him built. As you can see, he's constructed. He can move in the 3D space. Here we go. So I can move him around. Well, actually, I'm not moving him around. I'm moving the viewport in Blender. But I can animate him, pose him pretty much using Blender, those types of things. But I'm limited to some degree because I can't get the mouth motion to actually move with my lips unless I use motion capture software and some higher level motion capture slash VFX, um, differing things that I would have to do in the background using Blender's tools. And I can get that going, but it won't work without the tools that someone else who knows a higher level of skill in terms of applying the differing things that you need to do to get the mouth to move. So instead of using Blender, I wanted to use Wakaru and see how I can play around with Wakaru and have fun with my character before I get those tools slash software or whatever budget that I need to get it running, up and running, skills, knowledge base, etc. So Wakaru isn't that hard to get your character, pipelined onto it in terms of an animation pipeline. You can actually get your character on there using Blender. So that's why I brought y'all folks to check this out. So basically, in order to get your character from MakeHuman onto Blender, you have to have the add-ons and stuff like that, which I talked about in my previous sessions. You can check back in my videos. I have some archives. You can check on my previous sessions through my channel. So you can go to my YouTube channel page, which I'll bring y'all folks over to it if you don't know how to get to it. But basically, off of FBC Virtual, you go to my channel, Let me go real quick just to give y'all folks little how would you say, a pathway through. Why did I end up on Mazda? I don't know. That was weird. I clicked the ad, I guess. So here we go. This is my channel. All you have to do is click this uploads here, the very first link. When you click uploads, it will get you my most recent videos. So you can check back on some of these videos, and a lot of these videos will lead up to what I'm doing now. So y'all folks can at least know how I was able to do it. Also, you can go back in time and you can find other things that I was doing that is in relation to it, like the Make Human, how to Blender EV. Now, this is in order to get like higher quality visual, which are render, you know, stuff like that. So you can check these things and find differing ways to catch up to what I was able to do. Over here it has Make Human Community plugin for Blender 2.8. This is when it first got updated for Blender 2.8 after Blender got updated for the Blender 2.8 beta the very first time. Actually, not the very first time, but when the Make Human community upgraded. So I have a whole bunch of different videos. You can just keep going back into my archives. I also have Blender 3D Basics for Wakaru Animation. So this is like a prerequisite to understand everything that I'm doing today. So for those who missed a lot of that stuff, check that video out. It's pretty thorough, pretty you know, highly detailed in terms of what you should know, the basics in terms of Blender, what you need to know to get to this point. So that one is like an hour or so long. A lot of my videos go very, very hard in terms of the timing because I want to give people more detail than what the average person would try to provide. I try to go a little bit harder with the information because sometimes the average person may be void of a lot of information and not know anything per se. So I started out like if you're a newbie to 3D in general on every single video, and then I work my way out so more and more people can get the gist of what I'm saying and the knowledge base from what I learned in the past as well. So here goes another one, Wakaru Animation Pipeline Prep. So this is for custom 3D characters. You can start to understand what Wakaru is all about and gear yourself in to start learning how to build that knowledge base up. So if you watch these and you know the basics to Blender, then you're going to be able to follow what I'm doing here for sure. So pretty much I'm going to zoom through it a little bit, not super fast, but I'm basically going to get to where I was yesterday, which is I got the operator thing open. I didn't talk about that, but it says operator here. You can just hit these little arrows for the MMD Tools Add-on, and you can send it down and send it up. Now I already converted the model in terms of converting it to an MMD model. So my character is actually considered to be an MMD model as of now. And you can't really tell. It was converted from the regular bone structure that I got from the Make Human Exchange, the MHX2 add-on, which I talk about in the other videos as well. If y'all folks don't know about it, I highly recommend for you to type in MHX2 Make Human and then go research and find out what you can learn about that, because the Make Human Exchange is a pretty powerful add-on that will be something that you need to get a more advanced rig. You can get shape keys and things like that to make the mouth motion move. Like you can get facial expressions to change. You can do a lot of stuff with the MHX2. I think my shape keys, which is here, I got shape keys and stuff like that. I think they still work, even though I converted my model to an MMD model. So this is the kind of stuff that you have to get familiar with in order to get your character to start displaying actual expressions when you merge it over to Unity, which you're going to need to merge your character over to Unity after you gear it on to Blender and get everything set up for Blender and you make the conversion to MMD. It's going to become what is known as a PMX file. MMD models are in the form of PMX files pretty much. So you can do import, you can do export, you can do it in different formats. So you can import export models, which would be the model itself. You can import export motion, and you can import export poses or pose. So I believe what I was doing, I would go here to file and go to export and just export the PMX file. Now if you notice, it's not highlighted. If I wanted to export this right now, it's not highlighted, and the reason being is because you have to have the bones activated. You have to be clicked onto the bones in order to export the Miko Miko Dance or MMD model PMX file. So those are the things that the average person would not realize coming into this actual thing, trying to do it themselves. So how do you activate the bones? The bones right now are hidden, so I got to go in, open up my overlay in my drop menu over here for my toolbar. Usually the toolbar will be on the bottom down here, but if you wanted to flip it to the top, you can go anywhere in between and right click and then go flip to top. So mine starts out at the top, yours might be at the bottom, I don't know, it depends on how you want it. Then I have overlays that are hidden, so I hid everything in the background. So I'm using the overlay button right here to make this visible now. Now you can see my lamp, you can see the grids, you can see a whole lot of things in the background. I also have back here a HDMI background. I wanted to, throw a little bit of a different display from what I showed in the last two episodes or videos that I did for live, so that you can see you can do more over time. And you can build up a process if you wanted to on Blender to provide higher quality renders, higher quality visuals, stuff like that. So all those things are possible. If y'all folks never knew, now you know. But that doesn't pertain to the MMD stuff. You don't need a high quality background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock out that background and just focus on the viewport. So I'm going to actually change the color of the background so we can see the viewport a little bit better. So I'm making it black. That way, y'all guys and gals who are watching this as a tutorial, if you're learning something from it, which that's the whole purpose, right, of making this video, then y'all folks will get to see what I'm actually doing with the character. So this over here that you see over here, this is a more like a tool panel for your viewport. It starts out as a viewport panel control board, so to speak, where you can do different things. But in the past, Blender used to have add-ons show up on the left toolbar over here, and this left toolbar controls what's in the object. So basically it can control anything inside the object or on the surface of the object. You can move the object, you can rotate it, scale it, etc. These are basics for Blender, right? So if you're already past those basics, you can move on to do other things in the viewport. So what you gotta know, what you need to know, is how to activate the bones if the bones is hidden or not. So I'm gonna click the alternate H key to unhide the bones, aka the armature. So I have internal bones. I also have a advanced armature slash rig on the outside of it. So you can see out here on the outer rim in orange, that's what that is. So I'm going to deactivate everything, make sure I don't have the lamp clicked, and I'm going to reactivate it. So now it turns into a lighter orange, as you can see. See that? So that I did that so that way I just deactivated the lamp, because the lamp was hidden as well. So everything that was auto hidden or hidden in the background came up after I unhid it. So that's why it all was highlighted. So now all I need to do, if I wanted to export, now that I activated the bones, this is deactivating when you click off of it, and this is activating it. All I have to do is go to File and go to Export, and now you see this section here is highlighted. It's no longer dim. So if I click on it, it gives me the ability to convert, or not really convert because it's already a actual MMD model. So all I have to do now is create a name for my PMX file and then export it to a file path that I choose on my computer. So this would be the file path. I have C drive users slash or backslash forward slash, I'm not sure, forward slash flash forward slash 3D objects, etc. Human, make human, timber, main, and then timber. So this would be the folder I would find this file in if I clicked export, basically. And if you wanted to go into other folders on your computer, you can hit this little up arrow, turn up arrow, and then you can start digging into other folders and detail where you want it, or basically tell it where you want it to send it to. So say I wanted it to go to this new folder on my Make Human subfolder of my 3 object subfolder within my C drive, users flash C drive, whatever, then it would send it to that folder, which I'll show y'all folks how it looks. So we go to export PMX file, click that option, and it will give you a .pmx file basically as a file type. Blender generally is going to say not responding when it's doing computations or anything a little bit labor or cumbersome, labor intensive or cumbersome in terms of the computer power itself. So give it some time. Once it converts and does all this differing file transfer or whatever, it's going to be complete. It shouldn't freeze your computer at that point, but you never know. So now I'm minimize and go into my computer, and I'm basically going to go into that file folder that I sent it to. So now I'm going to look for my 3D objects subfolder, which is right here, this PC, 3D objects. Then I'm going to look for, I had it on the Make Human subfolder that I created. Go in there, and then now I'm going to go and look for new folder, which was the one I sent it to, which is this one here, new folder, just as an example. And this will be the MMD file that shows up. So what can I do with this MMD/PMX file? You can send this to the PMX Editor, which I never really created a video covering the PMX Editor. And the main reason why I haven't done that is because I wanted people to learn the basics to Blender. So whoever's been watching my videos, I'm not a Blender certified instructor. So I just wanted to gear people into stuff that I learned in terms of learning Blender in general. So now hopefully y'all folks learned a lot of the stuff from my experiences, my skill level of what I acquired over, I would say, the course of about 8 months or so, because it's been about 8 months that I've been learning Blender and trying to really dig my teeth in and try to get really better at it. So as the months keep going, keep moving, I try to learn more and more and more. So what I'm going to do is try to right click it and see what I can open it with. And I do have a PMX editor. If you don't know about it, you want to go look it up. It's really something that is essential and very important in order for you to get your model set up. So this is part of the 3D pipeline, and one of the parts of the equation that I did not share, but some people probably have figured it out on their own if they have been trying to get their Wakaru characters customized and up and running. So we're going to go to PMX Editor, click OK, because my computer searched and found it, and it should bring it up, my model in the PMX Editor as an MMD model. So that's pretty cool that you can do that from Blender 2.8 beta. Previous to this, I don't think anybody has done it yet with Blender 2.8 beta in terms of MMD model conversions and all that stuff. And if so, I haven't found any YouTube videos yet in terms of Blender 2.8. But obviously, the previous versions of Blender, people have done it already. That's how I was able to learn it, because I learned it from other people, from those who are in the community for MMD. So here goes my model. One thing you'll notice is that once you get your model on, it's not going to have any textures. So it's lacking textures. So what I'm doing, I'm rotating it. And the PMX editor is very similar to Blender to some degree in terms of being able to model characters. I don't know how to use it 100%. I'm not the greatest at it, but I do know the basics of what I need to know in order to get my character running, so that I can have my MMD model set up for the next pipeline, which is to merge it onto Unity from the PMX editor. So what I need to do here is go into Edit, I believe, and I don't think this is the editor that I need to use because it won't do much here. There's another editor option here. which is weird how the tool works. There's two different screens. There's one that you would think is the editor, but it's not. It's just more of a navigation control tool type of thing. The editor, the actual editor for it is a pop-up screen. So you got to go to this pop-up screen and then you can go into editing. So let's see. So what I'm going to do here is go to materials and then try to add the materials back onto it, because you can't see any materials. So you have to go to the material tab in the editor itself, and then you can go and manipulate the graphics or whatever you need to do. What I'm doing is going to specific, these are 3D elements that were built into it from MakeHuman, and each one will indicate a specific component that needs to be, updated, or the file information and data needs to be transferred to these particular locations. So this one right here is the old Caucasian skin. I believe this is the skin. So it's an old Caucasian female skin that I used for him. I borrowed a female skin just to see how it would look. We got eyebrows. We have eyelashes. This is high poly. This is the eyes. Then we got the male suit. So his suit, or whatever he was using, which is like a farmer jumper or whatever, his shoes, his teeth, and his tongue. So let's start from the top to bottom, and how you would get the textures. You have to actually open it. So there is a way to open it, which I kind of forgot, but I think it's clicking these colors here. When you click it, it opens this thing called text view and texture. We're going to go to file, and we're going to pretty much open, and then go and find his file folder. So some of this stuff, it's not that easy starting out, but once you start to get used to it, it's really simple. You just have to know which things to click, basically. So what I'm going to do is find him. His folder is Timber Main on the MakeHuman subfolder. So I'm going to go in there, then go into Timber, and then go into Textures. That's where his information is. So this is where all his diffuse maps and all the differing data for his graphics. So I'm going to go and get the old light skin female diffuse and open it. Once you do that, it's going to bring that UV map. So this is basically a UV map of the textures of his skin and his hair, his facial features, his tongue, etc., his fingers, every little detail. This is how the UV maps look. We're going to go to change, and we're going to click yes. When you do that, it should